Welcome back to another episode on Connie Celica, my 1977 Toyota Celica. I was lying in bed last night thinking, man, we are so close to being done. Then I come in here and lay all this out. I don't even know where to start. I feel like I've been saying we're this close to starting Connie for about 3 months now, and we're still this close to starting her. All this stuff is important. A lot of it doesn't need to be done before we start it, but we're going to anyway because we're just trying to be thorough, and frankly we're waiting on a few bits and pieces. But in any case, Vibrant bailed us out with a catch can setup. This thing is a big, beautiful beast. We'll figure out where to mount it. I went with their push-type fittings and some push-on hose to complete that setup, keeping it simple. I've got the valve cover laid out here because these hoses are going to have to kind of be routed around it, so I kind of put that out there as a visual reminder to sort that out. Vibrant also hooked us up with their windshield washer reservoir. It's actually a really cool kit. I was just looking at it all, and it's kind of for hot rods. Like, it's very complete. It comes with a little momentary switch to turn it on and off. It comes with little sprayer nozzles, T-fittings. There's also a connector and a harness that's not here right now because Nam from Envy stole it to go and finish up the chassis harness, so you'll see that wired up soon. This is my eBay special overflow rad tank. What do you call it? An expansion tank, I suppose you'd call it. That was like 20 bucks off of eBay. This is my second eBay purchase of that same day. This is a rear blower motor and defroster out of an E36 Cabriolet, and it's kind of a popular mod to use in race cars as a blower motor or a defroster because it's so compact and it's very simple to wire up, and there's actually a little heater element in here so it will blow hot air if you want hot air. And then last but certainly not least, we are going to mount up our IQ3 and our Street SmartWire keypad, or at least look at where to mount it and start sorting that out. We want to get the IQ3 mounted up though for startup so that we can check vital signs what's going on with the motor when we start it, so that's kind of important. Just been doing a little brainstorming here, figuring out where to mount this big boy, and it was tempting at first to think about mounting it back here because the routing for the breathers off the valve cover, the routing is kind of nice to go to the back of the bay here, but not a lot of room in this area to work with, and it's going to maybe interfere with the filter cover, so don't want to put it on the header side, so we're thinking the best spot is over here. It's actually got 2 threaded holes in the chassis that we can work with, and that's kind of a nice spot. It's away from everything. The lines are going to be a little bit longer, but not a big deal, so we're thinking just a piece of aluminum L bracket, cut to length, bolted to those holes, bolted on there, maybe drill a 3rd hole to support it a little more. Maybe a little foam pad underneath to support the weight of it because this thing is fairly girthy. And I think that'll be it on the catch can mounting, and then we'll route the lines and move on to the next thing. That PT.
No, it's looking pretty good.
A work of art.
We'll just drill some more holes here. We've got pre-existing ones on this bracket. This is actually a thicker bracket than the other one.
Yeah, I found a
which
better
we
piece.
figured it would work a little bit better, so we're gonna do that. That's nice and tight, and it's pretty darn good. I think we're gonna have to add a bit of foam here to keep this from rattling around. Ideally what you would want to do is put another mounting bracket on the bottom, which we may be able to do too, but for now let's just start running some fittings and figuring out how to route this DP.
After a little bit of humming and hawing, I've decided I want to shorten this bracket up just to move the can closer to the side of the chassis here. It's going to leave us more room for the windshield washer reservoir here, and by shortening this, there's going to be less leverage for the can to move around, so I think it's just going to make it a stronger setup. So to take this bracket off, I had to remove these Allen head bolts And as a bonus, it's going to let us show you what the inside of the can looks like. So, there's your integrated dipstick. There's our bracket, which is very nice. You can see the way they've grooved these holes, which allows you to clock the bracket. So it gives you a lot of adjustability. And then when you look inside there, you can see this is like a baffled divider that separates the can, that helps therefore separate the oil from the air.
Yeah, that's better already.
Seems pretty solid.
Now we've got just enough room here for a piece of foam. Kind of keep it there.
That ain't going nowhere, but
Nope.
yeah, we'll support it from underneath. All right, and we think we're gonna have okay hood clearance on these fittings, but they are...
We're gonna find out right now.
Just getting to work on how to route the hosing. This is 5/8 hosing from Vibrant Performance, which I selected sizing to go with these push-on fittings that fit on the catch can. And looking at the way the two valves on the valve cover work, we actually had to modify this one a little bit. It had a flattened side. Actually, this side was already flattened. Sorry, the bottom was already flattened, and it was designed to point toward the firewall. But we're actually going to flip it around, so we had to flatten the other side so that we can plug it into the valve cover here. Like that. Other one will stay in the stock location and routes underneath the cover here. So both hoses are going to come out this way, down around the front and over to the catch can. Time to cut some hose, and normally this is the part where Pete would get out his Dremel or his air tools and complain about not having the right tool, and that the guys at Vibrant Performance needed to hook us up, and that's exactly what they've done. And they've also put a box inside a box.
Oh my God! There's another doll in here. Hi, look at this, there's a doll in here.
Eventually we're gonna get in here and we'll show you their fancy hose shears. Oh man, this is serious. I didn't realize it would be this substantial a tool.
I'm not gonna lie, like these aren't necessarily for cutting rubber hose or for the fuel line like braided hose, but these are gonna work exceptionally well for what we need to do here.
All right, let's give it a try. Going in, PT.
Oh, yes.
Like butter.
I love having the right tools.
That is a serious tool right there. And if you have like nose rings or anything you want to remove, just come on over and we'll take care of those. Just been talking about how we want to route the hose. I kind of like the idea of running it down low and then back up again. Just takes it out of the visual sight lines up high in the engine bay.
Yeah, I think that's the best way.
So I think we're going to route it like this. We've loosened off these top bolts too, which allows you to see that you can rotate the can a bit, which is nice for tunability. But I think for hood clearance, we need this to be as far back as we can go. So I'll just push this guy on here.
WD-40 it, otherwise you're gonna struggle.
I think I need the WD on there.
I think you do.
So, lesson from PT, never go in dry. You need the lube, people. Where's the lube?
That's a good lesson.
Pete had the smart idea of just taking the fitting off the catch can. That way he can twist
really
it in there.
Work it in there.
Get aggressive.
I think that's in there.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Just show off.
Looks nice and proper.
All right.
You wanted this up like here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is exactly
yeah,
how we want it.
Bozo Zuko style at the hood.
Sure. I think we've cut this down to the right size where it's gonna look nice and symmetrical. That was my goal here. Oftentimes these catch can routing scenarios can get a little ugly, but I think we've got the right idea.
You know what I forgot to order, PT, were some of those Vibrant clamps that hold the hoses together.
Oh yeah.
That would have been nice, but
That would be nice.
we can zip tie it for now.
But look at that, I think.
Yeah, it looks good.
And now we bolt our valve cover, or I think I'm going to admit defeat here and just call it an engine cover.
Please.
But it's looking good. You can see the routing of the hoses is actually coming out of this one spot, which is nice. And
nice, yeah.
I did some zip tie tuning here for you, DP.
Oh, nice, yeah,
As
that
you
looks
can
good.
see,
Pro
I
spec.
think we cut our hoses the right length. They're nice and tidy there. And how does it look? Does the valve cover look like it's going to fit or what?
I think it's going to fit perfect, actually. I thought we were going to have to trim some of the plastics here, but I
Nah.
think we're good to go.
We've decided to mount up our windshield washer fluid reservoir right over here. And thankfully there's a bolt hole that's going to work for us just right, except our little bracket here that this mounts to The hole's a little too small, and I was gonna go use the drill press, but you know what?
Doing it by hand? First he shows off with those push-on hose fittings, and now he's a human drill press?
Look at me.
Actually worked.
Yes. See if it fits now. Like a champ.
My God, what a show off.
I know. Sometimes you just gotta go brute force. Where's Moose?
I know. Well,
I'm trying to channel my Moose here. Yeah, that looks good.
It does look good.
Wow, that was quick and easy.
Well, we do have to run the lines to the water jets and all that, so.
That would be just up, around, up in here, and we're done.
Well, except
Magic.
Except the.
And who wraps this?
I know.
Because when you think about it, somebody somewhere is wrapping this.
Yeah.
This is a lot of wasted time, in my opinion. You could just put a little zip tie on
They
this.
probably have it down to a science where they wrap that up in 2 seconds.
But still, there's a guy on an assembly line wrapping hose. Come on.
Yeah.
Whoa, looks like you got a bit of a tangle in your dangle. Did you know that more than 8 out of 10 hose owners die each year? Not anymore.
Okay, let's see here. If we plop that on there. Don't want to break that nipple now, do I? Okay, let's just leave that there just for the sake of it. If we were to run it.
Yeah, or there's another spot here.
Well, let's just put it where it originally needs to go, right? You lift this up.
Break that ancient grill.
I won't. So what we would need is a T to run off of there and connect to these. So
Well, look at this, Peter. The kit comes with T-fittings. Look at this.
all right, this is good. So then in here, we put a T.
There were lines in here, by the way, that I removed because they were rotted out. And there was a T-fitting and some rotten old lines. But you can see the jets.
I will have-
The jets are right here.
Yeah, and I'll have enough
there.
rubber hose that we can build the T here and then run off into there. So
Yeah.
this is doable. I think we're done here, DP. That will.
Want to show me that T-fitting under there?
All right, you can see the T feeding.
Oh,
there
it
you
is.
go.
So pro, so pro.
We have a little extra hose, but that's never a bad thing. So what we've done here is we put there was I guess just a plastic plug here.
Yep.
We put a rubber grommet there, used some P-clips here to route the hose. So I
Yep.
think it's onto mounting up that expansion tank, as you called it.
Sure, let's go with that. Just like the other side with the windshield reservoir, we just mounted the bracket to an existing bolt hole behind the headlights here, and it's going to work nicely.
We're going for symmetry today. So this side is the breather side,
Yeah.
and this side is the line side. Now, do you want this shortened here? Would you like this?
Yeah, I would just shorten it, make it a straight run.
All right.
This is what $22 on eBay will buy you, Peter. A generic
Money well
expansion tank.
spent. I'm just gonna twist the line here a little bit to get it to lay flat. There you go.
And
Done. Another job. Check it off the list. Are you gonna run the factory speedometer and tack, or just?
Well, if I did, it would only be just to fill the holes because
Yeah.
they're not going to be like wired up.
Okay.
But I'm thinking we'll just block them off with carbon plate
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
because I don't know. As cool as those old gauges are
They're
visually,
just gonna look weird though
Yeah, I
if
think
they're
it
not
would look
functional,
weird.
right?
they're not wired up. What's the point? So I think we'll give it a bit more of a race car look by blocking it off and focusing the eye where it needs to be focused at the Racepak stuff. So. Now for the part that's going to make some of you purists cringe, where Pete cuts up that 41-year-old piece of plastic. Don't worry though, guys, I could buy another one of these on eBay for about 50 or 60 bucks, so no biggie if we screw it up. The idea here is to inlay that Racepak IQ3S dash into the plastic a bit. Otherwise it was going to be sticking out too close to the steering wheel, so have at it, PT. Well, we made the bold and potentially unpopular decision to trim that plastic to set that in there a bit, didn't we?
I was all old and cracking anyways, so.
Yeah, it's true.
The way I figured out how to mount this here to a certain extent was we had it moved over up further up here, but then it was kind of in the way of the steering wheel, I thought. Moving it back kind of gives you a better visual space of the entire dash. And on top of that, this little push tab here, you need to remove the key.
Yeah.
And when we had put the dash here, it looked like every time you'd be fumbling to get at it.
Yeah.
So that was the other issue. What else we got here?
Well, there's a definite lack of a steering wheel. What do you say we
Yeah, we
try
can do
bolting
that.
up?
We can certainly do that.
Make the interior look a little more finished. The moment of semi-truth is upon us here. It's time to fit up this old, shouldn't say it's old. It's actually had very little use. It's basically like a new wheel. It's a Momo Retro 360 mil that was in your Porsche briefly.
Then went to the Mustang.
Yeah.
And now has landed in Connie.
Why not? I think it's probably the best
Yeah.
fit it's found so far.
I think that looks great, man.
It does look good. And for the horn button, I have a little something special from revlimiter.net. He can make custom horn buttons in any style you want. So you send him a logo and he'll make you a horn button. So he sent me 2 because I wasn't sure if I wanted it with the dotted line around the outside or not.
I actually like the stitching one better because it almost matches
Yeah, that's true.
the stitching here.
Okay,
So.
well, I guess we'll
There you
find
go.
out. Look at that.
That does look pretty good, though.
Looks slick.
Not gonna lie.
Just imagining heel and towing in here with my fancy new steering wheel in here, and it feels good.
You look good in there, DP.
I like where this is going. We just need a key in the ignition now and go for a rip. I'm ready to go for a rip
Not
here.
yet, my man.
Still
Not
have so much
yet.
more to do.
We do, sadly.
We've got to put in the electric fan, and we've got to put a gasket in between the header and the engine, which I lost. We've got to put fluids in there. We've got to put a harness in the chassis. We've got to plug everything in. It's a little bit depressing. There's still so much more to do, but we are getting closer step by step, and this is definitely a step in the right direction. So thank you, PT, for all your hard work trimming plastic for 3 hours.
Anytime, man.
Well, I went home and I don't know what I did. Probably parented or... I don't know what's coming next episode. I can't keep track of it all, so I'm not even going to tell you what's coming next. Just stay tuned for more Connie Celica. There's lots more to come before we are ripping at the racetrack. It's going to happen this year, though, or I'm going to die trying, one or the other. Thanks for watching.
Jordan Cox now closing up to the back of the Celica. Cox has got the pace over the top. Lee Forrest is going to have to go on the defensive here because will we see a repeat of Jordan Cox up the inside, over Skyline, and look at him down the inside of McPhillamy Park. Jordan Cox, what another great move in the Honda Civic, down Coates Hire S's, and that again.